Chase Lee Hockey here at the Blue Futon. And another movie I saw this weekend, like I said, I'm going to see all of them that I've missed, is The Fabelmans. I didn't really miss this one, but this is based on Steven Spielberg's childhood. Is it worth this 2.5 hour epic? Let's find out. So with this one, I am going to talk about Oscars at the very end because this is going to be a huge Oscar player in my opinion. But The Fabelmans, what's it about? It's a very simple premise. This takes the Fabelmans, aka I want to say Steven Spielberg's family, from New Jersey, Arizona to California from the trip of, art versus science. Even though it says it's art versus science in the trailer, I think that's very deceiving message from what you actually get from the film. But then you have Dano, you have Seth Rogen, you have Michelle Williams, you have Judd Hirsch. You have a bunch of actors in this film. So I like this film. Going into this movie, I was a little hesitant. Why am I hesitant? Because you have these movies now based on movies. Now, movies is magic and is powerful. Yes, I agree. I love me movies. It takes me out of the real world. However, there's more stuff to praise, in my opinion, like doctors, like firemen, like policemen, like military. Yeah, some of the people like Greg Sinise does it all the time. You have John Krasinski, or is that the director that I just said? I meant the person that directed A Quiet Place. I'm pretty sure it's Emily Blunt's husband. You have Chris Pratt doing all the stuff for the military and stuff like that. Like St. Jude's Hospital. Even that's completely different. Like you're not gonna make a movie about St. Jude's, but you know what I mean. Like those people that are like life impactful. Yes, this has very much to do with Steven Spielberg's story, and he's allowed to give it doing fantastic movies. You have him doing, Jaws, Close Encounters, Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List, West Side Story, this one, AI, which I did not like AI. I think that's one of Steven Spielberg's worst movies, in my opinion. I did not like AI. But anyway, this is a fun movie. It is 2.5 hours. I do think it dragged in some scenes. I do think some of the dialogue wasn't there for what it was trying to do. But overall, it was not what I was expecting, and that's a positive because the trailer didn't give away a lot of his stuff and also deceived the audience with a lot of stuff. So let's give the positives. I think the acting's fantastic. You have Dano, like I said, you have Michelle Williams, and you have Judd Hirsch. So you have those three, basically the ones that are talking about the Oscar talks. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not on the Judd Hirsch train yet. I would give it more to Dano and Michelle Williams. And then let's talk about Michelle Williams. Would you consider her a supporting or a lead? I'm not complaining that she's a lead. She's in a lot of this movie. This is a 2.5 hour movie. She's in easily more than 50% in the movie. And then when you think about the movie, a lot of it is based on her and Paul Dano and Steven Spielberg, or, not Steven Spielberg, Sam's character, Sam Fabelman's character. And I don't want to give up the huge twist in the movie, but when it happened, I was pleasantly surprised, even though that sounds horrible because it tears the family apart. But I'm like, this puts a layer to a movie which I was not expecting. I was seriously expecting Sam making a movie. His dad saying, it's a hobby. His mom saying, do it. Back and forth, like a triangle. But it wasn't that, and I enjoyed that element that I wasn't expecting. I will say one of the negatives of the trailer is having the art versus science element to it. Because even though they had the art versus science, the dad was never really like, you should never do this. Like anger. Like he was always calm, cool, collective. Like, I think it's a hobby. I'd rather do something real that, inventions that helps people excel throughout this throughout the world, because that's what his dad was, working for GE, making these computers, helping people excel. And you could say movies help people excel about getting out of the real world, but let's be honest, 50 years from now, if a bomb goes off, if something happens, will the movies actually care, or will it be more of build civilization, rebuild those computers, rebuild those cars? So you have the whole thing where you have Hollywood saying, oh, and art is like, it expands the world. You have the Shakespeare's, but you got to think about the real world aspect of it. Doesn't really matter. And I think that's what Paul Dano's character was really about. However, he was also still very loving and caring for his son. And I think the trailer kind of just made him feel like the bad guy or the villain of this movie, and he wasn't. So that was a little bit of a bummer for me where the audiences or the trailer would deceive the audience like that. And of course, Michelle Williams, you expect her to be this artsy mom, but she has a lot more layers to her as well. So that's a positive. So I understand what they're doing with this trailer with the Fabelmans, but for the audience member, expect a lot more layers. And some of the dialogue scenes, okay, this movie is very Jewish. I know that sounds really weird. I just shouldn't go to Dave Chappelle and say the Jews. I'm not going to say it. It's very Jewish. You can tell from the trailer. Steven Spielberg was very Jewish. There's things in the trailer like, oh, our house is the only one without Christmas lights. So there's stuff to it. And then there's stuff at the very end where it's like, apparently, a lot of people in California were anti-Jew or whatever. So maybe it's California, not Arizona or New Jersey. I don't know. My dog's going crazy right now. But you have that element, and there's something at the very end where you know Steven Spielberg or Sam Fabelman are Democrats. So they say something about the 1964 election, about Kennedy versus Bloodsworth or something like that, the Republican candidate. But that Republican candidate was Jewish. So it was like you're mad at him for voting for a Jewish Republican candidate, but this whole movie is all about, the Jewish religion and being part Jewish. So I found that very weird. And also, very end, there's a bully scene. You could tell by the trailer about someone getting punched, where Sam Fabelman tells a person he's anti-Semitic. But it was actually his friend that was mostly anti-Semitic, not this person. So I was a little bit confused by that. If you're going to call this person anti-Semitic, make him say some stuff that is like truly anti-Semitic. It was the friend doing the whole bagel man, doing the Jew hole with the bagel. So to me, that was a little bit odd adding that dialogue. And there's a comedic scene, if you want to put it that way, with a girl who loves Jesus. And maybe it was true in real life, but I feel like that was way too blown out of proportion. And it did take me out of the story for that reason. And from the sounds of it, maybe Dave Chappelle was right. There's a lot, even it says in the story, there's a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood. And that's what Judd Hirsch's kind of dialogue was about, is, yeah, there are a lot of Jewish people in Hollywood. So Kanye West, he might have said it completely wrong, but even there was an LA Times article in 2008. So there we go. Overall, the Fabelmans, I was expecting to not like as much, being, love of the movies. It's a Hollywood movie, and everyone in Hollywood is going to adore it. But I think it is a good movie for a lot of people to see. I was the only one in the theaters, though, so maybe not a lot of people are going to see this film. So quick, before I give you their score, Oscars. So is it going to be nominated for Best Picture? Yes. Should it win? No. Is it going to be nominated for Director? Yes. Should it win? Maybe. Then we cover the technical aspects. It shouldn't win sound. There's nothing fantastic about the cinematography. The score was very minimalist in this movie. So I don't consider this a technical movie. But I feel like this is going to be a Power of the Dog, where it's going to rack up just production design, cinematography, sound, stuff that it really shouldn't. Editing. Like, it's going to be like, whoa, are we overbearing this one just like Power of the Dog? And then Power of the Dog, only one director? Can this be in that category? So yeah, overall, watch it if you want to see something that's heartwarming and a family drama. So the Fabelmans will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals that 70%. So see, the critics' news scores gave this one. So you have critics a 93% with 174 of them. Audience score an 86% with plus 50. Here's critic consensus. Part memoir, part ode to the power of the movies. The Fabelmans find Steven Spielberg's digging at a family roots that helped make him a beloved filmmaker and proves he hasn't lost his magic touch. So I'm going to look at Steven Spielberg's what he's directed, and I'll let you know like which ones did I not like. His actual directing. His last, he produced Cats. Oh God. But I don't really care about produce. He did Ready Player One. That wasn't bad. The Post, it was a fine movie. The BFG. Oh, I didn't see that one actually. I totally forgot about it. The British Spies wasn't bad. Then we go to Lincoln. Was really good actually. Let's not lie. War Horse. I adore War Horse. I don't care what anyone says. I adore that movie. Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Like I said, the Munich, great movie. The one I did not like at all was AI. So that's, to me, his biggest fault of a movie. But we have the 93, my 70, what was it, 86? Yeah. Cheese out with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Butantopia. You Butonians, saying watch, have a fantastic day. Peace and love. Love every single one of you. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy this holiday. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. And do what you want to do with your life.